Did he abuse everyone else before me? Will he continue to abuse everyone after me? I'm going to run through that in just a mo, but before that, if you're new here, I'm Laura. I run Salt Sisters. I'm a somatic coach and I help women rebuild self-trust after toxic relationships. I might turn this into a bit of a series of the most burning questions we all have after relationships with narcissists. If you want something like that, just put a comment below so I can know whether it's something you want me to do. But one of the questions that always comes up, whether that's with clients or just anyone that's been a victim to abuse, is we often wonder, did they abuse everyone before us and will they continue to abuse? Because what's really weird is it's quite comforting to know you're not the only one, because if it feels like it's just you, then in your head you feel like, oh well, I'm the problem then. If he's only abused me, it definitely was my fault. But if you can find out that his previous girlfriends had the same problem and that his new girlfriends have the same problem, then universally he's treating you all the same across the board. And that feels easier to accept, even though it's horrendous knowing that he's still out there doing damage. But there is a slight comfort in knowing you weren't unique to that system. And the thing with finding out the answer to that question is it is so unhealthy to go digging and reaching out to ex-girlfriends to find that evidence, because you're also risking whether they might not have even been aware that they were abused. You also can look really crazy. They might still be really loyal to their ex and pining after him. Like, you just don't know their circumstances or their situation, and they might have also been so far along with healing, and then you've just triggered them and made them feel really bad by getting in touch and telling them that you're now a victim to their abuse. So it's really hard, because when you first come out of these relationships, you want to tell everyone that who you were dating wasn't who they were supposed to be, because there's this need to prove that you weren't the problem, but there's also this need to warn other people because you don't want them to go through what you did. And that comes from a really good and healthy place. But the problem with that is you're still fixating and concentrating on this person. You're putting in effort to control variables that are out of your control. And part of no contact is not contacting anyone to do with your abuser. You've kind of got to just leave it all behind and move on from it and not have anything to do with him, whether that's mutual friends, whether that's looking at their social media, whether that's bumping into them at a coffee shop. You've got to get rid of all of that. You can't be tempted to reach out to them and be connected to them. So that also means you can't be in contact with anyone associated with them. You also can't warn the next girlfriend, because again, remember what it's like in the beginning when you're being love bombed and you're being put on that pedestal and it feels like you've met your soulmate. If someone had come into your inbox and told you this guy is an abuser, get away from him, warning you about him, are you going to believe this random girl, or are you going to believe the partner that's shown nothing but kindness and love to you? So think about when you were in that situation, all the chemicals and the high of being with them. If anyone had warned you about this going horribly wrong, would you have believed them? It might have planted a seed, but you probably would have been very loyal to your abuser. Same goes for this next girl. You've kind of really horribly got to let them learn their lesson themselves. It's not your problem anymore. And that's not to say that I don't care about other victims of abuse. I care non-stop about this. It's why I do what I do, because I want there to be more education out there so women can make healthier choices about relationships like this. So trust me, I really care. But unfortunately, with abuse, it's one of those things you have to go through and experience and make the mistakes to learn from it. And it really doesn't matter what anyone else says. Until you're ready to hear that information, you won't listen to anyone. You can literally be told your partner is a narcissist and not believe it and rationalize it away. I've had situations like that where I know people that have been warned about their partners being abusive and they've not managed to cut ties with them, because it's not black and white. It's not easy. You can't just leave. So warning the next partner about what's going to happen isn't of benefit to anyone, because you can't guarantee that they're going to listen to you and you can't risk it. And plus, it's keeping the door open to being involved in their chaos themselves and in their life. So part of your healing means learning that you have no control over any of these external forces. You can only look after yourself, your needs, your feelings, your healing, and you've kind of got to let them do their thing, whether that involves abusing other people or not. And it's something we can't stop. It's also part of healing to sit with that discomfort of knowing that he might still be out there harming other people, because it really hurts. You know the consequences. You've been in it. You don't want that to happen to anyone. You wouldn't even wish it on your worst enemy. So it is really difficult to let go of it all, because you mean well and you want to do well, but chasing for those answers of whether he abuses the next victims and if he's abused before, it's just keeping your attention stuck on him rather than fixating on yourself and your future. There's also, I'll put the screenshot up here because I screenshotted this years ago from an educator whose Instagram handle is let me explain, and she's amazing. You should definitely follow her. She knows so much about domestic violence. I can't say I know what her actual job title is because she wears many hats, and I literally am a ghost on Instagram. I never go on there. But someone had asked her a question saying, if someone is abusive, will they abuse all future partners? And she answered it like this. This is a difficult one because the truth is that there are some people who have been very abusive in one relationship, but not another. But I don't like to say that for two reasons. Number one, because it can make victims feel like the abuse must have been their fault if it didn't happen with their abuser's previous or future partner, but it definitely wasn't. Blame always lies firmly with the abuser. And number two, because it can make people think it's a good idea to get involved with someone who has previously abused others. It gives them hope that it's possible for them to have a healthy relationship with them. And she goes on to finish it off with, so yes, there are circumstances where someone who's been abusive isn't that way with every partner. However, it's rare. Most abusive people repeat the same patterns in all their relationships. And if they don't, that's great, but it's risky heading into it to find out. If you're asking from the perspective of a survivor of abuse whose partner has moved on, do not internalize it. You do not know what goes on behind closed doors, and you couldn't have done anything differently to make that relationship non-abusive. And I think she sums that up really well, because this is the problem with keeping them on your social media and following them and seeing what they're up to. It is self-harm, because no good can come of finding out that they're having a new relationship, that they're having a good time without you, that they're really happy. All of that is not going to make you feel better. And it's just reminding you of what you've lost, because when we're out of those relationships, we have a habit of romanticizing them, remembering all the good bits and conveniently forgetting all the bad bits. And what you really need to remember about social media is everyone posts their highlights. Nobody is sat in their room crying, although is that something that the people that came after millennials do? I can't remember. What are they, Gen Z? I don't even know what gen they are. Oh God. But yeah, nobody is on Instagram sharing their saddest moments, them crying, them having a breakdown, them getting angry. We don't want to publish that information. And in the same way, when you're in a new relationship and you're a narcissist, you are showing off to everyone because that's your brand, that's your persona, that's how you want to be perceived. And a lot of the behavior of narcissists is to be perceived good in other people's eyes. They need to look the part, and social media is a big part of showcasing who they want you to see them as. So if you want to do no contact properly, it really does mean no contact everywhere, not keeping their number in your phone, not temporarily blocking them. It means removing all traces of them from your whole life. Like, I had to lose mutual friends over it because it just wasn't healthy for me. Every time I could see a story or I got snippets of information from these people that were friends with my ex, it just didn't serve me well. I was then stewing over it. I was then wondering whether they were talking about me, wondering if they were like laughing behind me. It just like stirred up all this anxiety and worry, and I wasn't feeling better from hanging out with those people or being in connection to those people anymore. So I had to make a clean break. Sounds fucking savage, I know, to just like cut off loads of people that probably didn't intentionally mean to hurt you, but I could not be part of their lives anymore because they chose to stay in connection to my ex. And my ex was bad news to me. He didn't add value to my life, and he made me feel worse about myself. So I want people who are going to support me with those choices and not be complicit in his behavior. So I had to cut everyone off from that while I concentrated on my healing and just looked after myself. And that is a really hard choice. It sucks because when you're healing from narcissistic abuse, you're not only losing your partner, you're losing your whole life connected to them. And nobody really mentions about all the other losses that we go through as well. The loss of the group friendship you might have shared, the loss of the places you went to, the loss of the inside jokes, the loss of the shared interests, the loss of friendships, family members, all of that. It's a big shift to go through. So yes, you might not ever get the answer of whether they are abusing other people, but you don't need to know that in order to heal. Yes, it might give you a little bit of comfort, but you are going to benefit more from learning how to give yourself that comfort rather than relying on external sources to comfort you. It needs to always come back to you and what is within your control and how you can start to feel better about your healing and what you can do to benefit your healing. So I'm going to end that question there, and hopefully I've answered that quite well. And if you've just come out of a relationship and you feel like you've got lots of questions about whether they were conscious of their abuse and whether they were really a narcissist, I've got another video on that, which if I can figure it out, I will either put in this video or link below. And I'm thinking of just doing another few more videos on the most pressing questions we have when we come out of these relationships, which if you want more of, please let me know in the comments and then I can get to making them. I think that's it.